Good afternoon, everyone. Hey, this is Bruce Marshall from Simpler Trading with the nightly market update for Wednesday, February the 12th. So, from last week when I did the update, we just continued to go higher, higher, higher. Across the board in the indexes, it's been just a crazy run, and I like it. It's been good, but it's only one way. It's a one-way move. So you either are full-on bullish, or you kind of miss this move. And I will say this move has been really hard to jump in with both feet and load the boat and all that kind of stuff, just because we've already been trading at such extremes. So let's dip in here and see what we've got. Let's start on the S&P as always. Guess what? Another new all-time high / lifetime high in the S&P. And let's go back out here to our chart. And as we can see, I mean, we just, we are, 700 points off that low? Straight up. Tiny pullback, straight up. Looking back, that was kind of tiny pullback. Straight up again. Another, again, 33.81.47. I had a level there at 33.80 on the futures, and we just touched that level, 33.80.69. That was a 1272 extension, which is kind of crazy how accurate those are. In fact, let me put some voodoo lines up here real quick and see where we are on our voodoo lines. And if you notice, we've been tracking these, and remember my original theory was that we would kind of stay between here as a primary kind of chopping range once this came back, and that was due to the coronavirus and what might happen from that. And apparently the market just could care less about that. There's absolutely no fear in this market, and some of that is probably justified, and some of that is also from the Chinese government pumping, I think so far, well, I know they pumped at least $3 billion into the market, and the Fed is just buying government bonds, as fast as they can. So there's lots of quantitative easing going on behind the scenes, which just keeps pushing this, right? Tidal wave of money, which is actually what's been pushing this thing for 10 years, more or less. But anyway, and there are, yes, there are lots of good earnings along the way, and, lots of good things, on that side of the balance sheet for sure. But my first target was to chop around here, maybe come down, maybe come back up, but kind of end up in this area. And the secondary target was a wider range of maybe up here and maybe down here, depending on news. And so far we're heading just as fast as we can up there to that 3410 level. That's a tree line up there. Of course, 3400 will be a level. It's a big round number and all that kind of stuff as well. So that's where we look like we are heading. Now, as far as the coronavirus and all that kind of stuff, remember last week in the video, I told you guys that the numbers we were looking for were 51,000 cases by this past Sunday. That was from Wednesday to Sunday, 51,000. As it stands right now, we're at about 44,653 as of today. So we did not reach that hurdle by Sunday for them to up the threat level. And I read this morning, you see today, of course, the S&P, I mean, we have been galloping, 10, 15, 20 points a day, just ripping, rip. This, and to put it in perspective or context, that is a 22-point move in the S&P. This was 57 here, I think it was, or maybe this was, I don't remember. But anyway, just rip. And the reason we're up so much today is because I read that there are fewer cases being reported and all that kind of stuff. We're over 1,100 deaths worldwide, 1,113 I believe, which is far greater than SARS. And people will say, well, there's 6,000 people in the U.S. die of flu every year. Yes, that's true, and it's sad and it's tragic and all that. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about from the productivity when you have whole cities locked down in China, and who is manufacturing things and who's shipping things and all that kind of stuff. So there will be a boomerang effect. It's likely to be a little while before we see it, and I don't know, because of the pretty drastic measures the Chinese government's taken, if it's that big a deal or not. And we should probably look at it as a buying opportunity, honestly. But anyway, so that's kind of what I'm seeing is driving this market. And so, again, we want to remain on the side of the trend and the momentum. And one way to look at it too is, from this low all the way up, we've had, I don't even know if I'd call that meaningful. We've really had one meaningful pullback, and that's this is September last year. So months and months and months and months of straight up. And I'm the first one to say, it's just a matter of time. It's going to do this, and it's going to be, ugly and all that kind of stuff. But the Fed keeps saying we got your back. The market is already, some of the run I keep reading is perhaps political, in that the Democratic, the Iowa caucus and all that kind of stuff didn't go so well. The market likes Trump, or likes the business policies, I guess, of Trump. But anyway, we need to keep an eye on that as well. But for now, again, we buy it. We buy it with some conviction on what we're buying and discretion on what we're buying. Everything has been, the money has been flowing mostly into tech and big tech. So when we get a sector rotation, you have to be ready to jump out of the way as fast as you jump in. But other than that, that's really all we got right now, is just buy the dip if we get one. Otherwise, just find the stocks that are strong and try to ride those. For example, Apple and Amazon, so forth. But again, be careful and watch your stops and watch your levels. But that is what I've got. It's just nothing but up from here until it stops. And we know that'll happen. We just don't know when. So it's kind of the same song, second dance, second verse of this last move up. And the little blip right here didn't last very long. So I would say to look at higher numbers up here until we can pause a little bit, kind of catch our breath, maybe retrace a little bit. But for now, that's what I've got. So I hope this helps, makes sense, and I will see you guys at the next update. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Hey everyone, TG here with Simpler Trading. Come get my Moxie Stock Method class and indicator now, and you will get 2 free live trading sessions with me. Don't delay, this offer expires at midnight, February 13th.